Alright, quick little update on the Civic, 8th gen Civic, and then I'll show you a trick for getting a tire back on after getting a valve stem. I had to put a new valve stem on. Alright, let's check out the weight reduction. Alright, so I just chiseled out some tar mats. I didn't use dry ice, I tried to use heat, but that didn't really work. It just made it really gummy and stuff. So I just kind of chiseled at the stuff that was already going to come up anyway. And then that stuff came out pretty easy, so I'll have to get some dry ice, or that freeze spray is another good one. Let's see what else we got. So I got the center console out. While I'm here, I'm probably going to remove that little amplifier for the stereo because I took all the speakers out. And then maybe at some point I'll get rid of the radio. So that's out. It's kind of cool seeing all the mechanical stuff there going on with the shifter, how that all works and everything. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, I'll probably eventually get to taking the sunroof out, or at least the glass, because the glass is heavy. And then the motor, I don't know if I can just reuse the rails that are in there somehow, shim them out, and then just stick a plug and maybe go to the junkyard and get some of this rubber and just, stick a piece of wood or metal in there with the rubber on it so it looks kind of factory. I was looking at the trunk. If you really were nuts about it, you could take off this big old locking mechanism that's super heavy and all the cables and everything, and then you could hood pin it closed or find some other way to close it, ratchet it, or put some super heavy duty cable ties. That's probably not the best idea. Pins would be better, but all right. So here's this tire. So I had to stick a new valve stem in there. I tried to do it from the outside. That didn't work very well. I broke a funnel. If you've ever tried to jam it through a funnel to get it in that hole there, because I sprayed the tire down, found the leak. It was just bubbling up like crazy, which is kind of good because that means the rest of the tire is good. So anyways, when you're trying to, and then I used the jack with, I looped some of these cheapo, these aren't really ratchet straps. They just kind of have a little, you just yank them through. There's a little thing that you push down and you just pull the webbing through. So I just looped that around underneath these wheels and across, one from this way, one from that way. And then I used the, pumped up the jack so that presses into the tire, and then that pops the bead. So I popped the bead, and then I probably could have just pushed really hard down on here and popped the valve stem in, but I did it wrong. I pried up the whole bead off the tire. So then I struggled with it for a couple hours trying to get it back on after I put the valve stem in. And the trick to that is that I found what works is, so you just stick like a piece of wood down after the bead's nice and broken. So you put a piece of wood down, put your knee on it, and then try to, actually I had two thin pieces of wood at first, and then I just yanked this strap as tight as I could get it, muscle it on there, and then I got on there and put my knee on it, and then I took the small piece out and put a bigger piece in so it was pushing down more, and then, you can tell this, I beat the crap out of this thing. All the marks around the rim scratched up. I don't know, I might plastic dip these rims at some point. I've been thinking about that. But anyways, yeah, once you have that on there, and that's putting a lot of pressure down there, then you can put your knee on it again, or you can put your knee on, the opposite sides, really push down. And then you can use a big, big tire iron to try to start, popping it back on. And then also what comes in handy is these little motorcycle or bicycle ones, because you can jam those in to keep your position. Like if you're here, you can really jam that in there so that you can start working on the other side with the big lever, and then you can get it on there. And then once you'll get to a part where there's 10 inches that are, it's just like it's almost all the way on. So then you can just take a hammer and just bang it a couple times and it'll finish going on there. So that's a nice trick for getting that on. This thing really worked a lot better than, I tried the rope trick, you know, where you put the rope on the inside and try to yank it around and it tries to seat the bead, but it didn't really work too well, or at least get it inside the rim. So this was the only thing that worked for me, because I was out here for hours trying to wrestle it and smashing up my wrist with the tire iron and stuff like that. So all right, that's a quick update on the car and how to do that trick to get that back on after you put a valve stem in. So hope that helps you guys out, and see you later.